indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Ms. Deep?
Present.
Ms. Lopez?
Present.
Ms. Sarmiento?
Present.
Ms. Pettenko Castañeda?
Present.
Ms. Dávalos?
Present. We will now do our presentations. A presentation by John Otis School students.
Good evening, Board President, Avalos, trustees, and executive cabinet. My name is Brian Vine. I am the proud principal of John Otis School, and I'd like to introduce two amazing sixth grade teachers, Mr. Rodriguez and Mr. Baeza.
Hey, wait. We got this. We got this, guys.
You got it.
So now I will begin. My name is Nicholas, and today I'm going to explain to you guys what are Greek and Latin roots. A lot of students are great decoders. They know how to read a word by sounding out its parts, but most of the time they don't know what it means. And vocabulary knowledge is a very important part to be a great reader. Actually, it's not for just being a great reader. It can help in speaking, reading, and more. And this is scientifically proven. It states that making kids learn the definition of words can help them be a good reader. And not just being a good reader, it can also improve their literacy, their speaking skills. And learning new words can help students to have better literacy skills. And researchers recommend for you to teach students parts of words. Fun fact, did you know that over 60% of students of words have Greek or Latin roots in them? And by this point, you may have been wondering, what are Greek and Latin roots? Well, Greek and Latin roots are chunks of words that contain the essential core of the word's meaning that the students are reading. And if they do not know the meaning of the words, most of the time, they will skip the word they're reading of.
Good afternoon, my name is Eli. For this reason, students need to learn how to break down the important parts of words they don't know. As early as second grade, writing standards require that students begin to use their knowledge of roots, prefixes, and suffixes to determine the meaning of the word. More Greek and Latin roots follow the same easy-to-use format as Greek and Latin roots, and introduces students to 30 new roots and their meanings to support their vocabulary. Greek and Latin roots teach students how to dissect and comprehend words, not just decode them. The activities of Greek and Latin roots help us in all areas of literacy to maximize our vocabulary and our oral language, writing, reading, and comprehension.
Hello, my name is Isabella, and you guys are probably wondering what we do for homework for the week. Well, on Monday, we receive the words of the week and review them in class. For homework, we write the definitions or make flashcards, but we have the choice to write the definitions either in our own words or rewrite the definitions we were given originally. For Tuesday's homework, we write sentences. The sentences include the words, and we do this so we can remember or see how they would be used in a sentence. For Wednesday, we do 5 times each, which is just writing the words 5 times each in print and in cursive. But some people really need to work on their cursive. On Thursdays, we write crazy steps, or better known as word pyramid, but our teacher just had to make a cool name for it. Then finally, it is Friday, test day. But before we take the test, we do color definitions and then Kahoot to review for the test. And if you guys are wondering what the homework looks like, there's an example of homework.
Did someone say Kahoot? Well, my name is Aidan, and I'll be talking about Kahoot. In class, we use Kahoot to practice for our spelling test. Kahoot helps everyone in both classes from making it not boring to easy and fun to remember. Kahoots are always really fun and we get to customize our characters, but we have to use our regular names, which is kind of boring to be honest. Like, I want a cooler name, not just my first name, but my first name's still pretty cool. You can use Kahoot for different things, from a math Kahoot to a spelling Kahoot, or just any Kahoot at all. Some facts I learned about Kahoot is that after its launch in 2013, Kahoot has hosted more than 12 billion games since its release. Also, more than 500 universities use Kahoot for higher education. And Kahoot can also improve a grade by a whole letter, which is kind of cool. Board members, you may be asking yourself, why are there sticky notes in front of you? We are going to be doing a makeshift Kahoot. For your Kahoot, you will have 10 seconds to answer the question and write the answer on the paper. Not reliable, untrustworthy. Are you guys done? Okay, we trust you on grading your own paper, so you better not be lying. The answer was irresponsible.
Yay.
Next question.
Did you put it in cursive?
To answer, to make a reply. So you will finish? Okay, again, we trust you on grading your own paper. Please don't lie. Lying's bad. The answer was respond. Oh, and if you got any of those wrong, that's kind of crazy. Well, now would be time for the test, but our teachers forgot to bring it. So sadly, we don't have any tests for you guys.
As a class, we come to the consensus as a group that increasing our vocabulary is conducive towards becoming a successful adult. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much for showing us what you're learning. I've actually been learning Greek for the past year, and one of my favorite words is akous, which means to hear, and it comes from acoustics, from like music. So I just wanted to share, but thank you for quizzing us. I think we all got it right, maybe. So on behalf of the board, we're really proud of your learning and your growing. So we're gonna have a certificate for you and a book, and then you can come to the middle for it. Okay. All right. Item Esparza. Good job. Ellie Hatchett. Isabella. Okay,
6, 7.
Good job, guys. Good job.
We will now go to item B, recognize Jasmine Luna from John Otis School as a National School District Civic Volunteer. Mr. Brian. Principal of John Otis.
All right. I read this thing like 5 times, so I wouldn't choke up. We'll see how it goes. Okay. I have the honor of recognizing John Otis's amazing volunteer, Yasmin Luna. Yasmin has been a part of our John Otis community for 5.5 years now. She has 2 wonderful children, and all 2 of them attend John Otis. One in 5th grade, and the youngest is in 2nd grade. Yasmin is currently a dedicated PTA member and is also our PTA vice president. Yasmin has been around John Otis for a while, but I didn't really know who she was until last year. She started hanging around our PTA vice president, Norma Hernandez. And now they are attached at the hip. Yasmin is on our campus now daily as our new vice president. She and her amazing PTA members run every event at John Otis. Fall Festival, Valentine Dance, Turkey Trot, Pictures with Santa, 6th grade prom, book fair, family community events. She's the best decorator on the planet. And this year, for the first time in 7 years, a yearbook at John Otis.
Wow.
These guys, I always tell my parents when they come to the Student of the Month assemblies, whatever you're doing at home, keep doing it. It's working. Jasmine, whatever you're doing at John Otis, keep doing it. It's working. You have been part of John Otis for a while, but now you're part of the heart of John Otis, the John Otis family. And now you're stuck. Like I say to all my amazing volunteers, please never leave me. Yasmin, thank you so much for everything you do at John Otis, and congratulations for being our InSync district volunteer. Come on up here.
Quiero decirle muchas gracias a mis compañeras Norma y Marilyn, que son las que me metieron en PTA. Y pues estoy muy contenta. Y pues me gusta mucho lo que hago, me estoy involucrando mucho en las actividades de la escuela y me gusta que mis niñas se ponen muy feliz porque me ven ahí. Y pues no sé más decir, solamente que me gusta mucho lo que hago y que es para muy bien para la escuela, que es donde van mis hijas. Y también quiero agradecer a mi esposo que no está aquí. Él se metió al Army, para un mejor futuro. Y no quiero llorar. Pero gracias a eso tengo mucha oportunidad de estar más tiempo en la escuela de mis hijas y hacer lo que hago con mucho gusto. I understand.
Okay. I have for you, on behalf of the governing board, the National School District, and the administration, we'd like to present you with the Volunteer of the Month Award, recognizing Yasmin Luna, your noteworthy contributions to the children and families in the National School District. That's for you. And then here's a water bottle, because I'm sure you work very hard and you need it. And would you like to introduce your family, friends?
Okay. Aquí está mi amiga Marilyn, mi amiga Norma, mi hija Kimberly, también, and Angela. Ellas son mis dos niñas. También se me olvidó algo, pero muy importante agradecerle también al mejor director, de National City. Y pues es un orgullo tenerlo en John Otis. Thank you, Mr. Vice.
Thanks for all that you do for the National School District and the children of John Otis.
Come on, come on, come on. Don't be shy.
Come on.
Si tú no sales, yo tampoco.
There you go. Thank you.
Thank you for all you do for us. Appreciate it. We will now have recognize Rosa Lopez, school counselor from El Torreon School, Mr. Dr. Reynaldo Vargas.
Good evening, Board President, Trustees, Executive Cabinet. It's a privilege to stand here tonight as your Director of Student Support Services to celebrate a true champion for our community and children. In the National School District, we know that academic success is impossible without emotional well-being. And no one embodies that mission more than Rosa Lopez, our school counselor at El Torreon. Tonight, I have the pleasure of celebrating her dedication to our students. We are celebrating the fact that the entire county has caught on to what we already knew, that Rosa has been named the San Diego County Elementary School Counselor of the Year. So, why Rosa? I can tell you that she is the heart of El Torreon. Rosa has a unique gift for making every student feel seen, heard, valued from the moment they step onto campus. She is a bridge for families. She doesn't just counsel students, she supports entire families, ensuring that they have the resources and stability they need to thrive. She is also advocacy in action, whether it's a small group session or a campus-wide initiative. Rosa's work is rooted in equity and deep compassion. Rosa, your colleagues admire you, your students adore you, and our district is better because you are in it. Congratulations on this well-deserved honor. You make all of us incredibly proud.
Thank you. It's a pleasure, being here and standing in front of all of you. I've been in the district for 26 years, and I started from the bottom up, kids, okay? I started working as an IA, and I moved myself up, and I just want to thank the district for allowing me to grow, and growing as a person, as a mom, as a parent, because I was pregnant when my kids were, being a counselor. So I think I will never be able to do this job without the support of my team. And I don't take this recognition by myself like I did it all. It's always teamwork. And that's how I work best. So I want to thank you guys for everything. And I was very surprised on Friday when I was surprised at my school. Little girl, I cried so much. I'm not a big crier. But pretty cute little girl comes up to me and it's like, this sort of tear of happiness. So that made my day, and that made me feel very special. But I do want to highlight my family, my kids who are already grown up, my husband who supported me all the time, which sometimes I'm running late to dinners or something happens, because I do prioritize work. This is my other family, this is my other house, my other home. And I just love the work that I do, and I hope it shows, right? Thank you to my principal of so many years, Mr. Lenady, who I've worked at Palmer Way for 19 years, but I also want to recognize my family from Palmer Way, because I was there for 19 years, and I grew so much as a person working there. And I was lucky to make the transfer to El Torreon, and I love it. Teachers are amazing, students are beautiful. Parents, oh my gosh, I can't tell you how blessed I am to work there. So thank you, district, thank you, board members, executive cabinet, for this amazing place.
Yes. Well, I wanted to, again, congratulate you. I was able to participate in her surprise from Sunday and out to bed on Friday. I would not have missed it for the world, because I've known her since before her children were even in existence. My children were at Olivewood when she was at Olivewood. So she was very special then when she was at Olivewood when she was getting started, right?
Yes,
and so spent some time there, and then she moved on to Palmer Way
and Otis.
Yeah. So that was when we had to share her. Now, she is full-time at El Leon. So I wanted to again congratulate you on your excellence in our district, because you don't just, you're not just at El Leon, you support our entire district and with your team, as you constantly reiterate, because it is a team member, but I wanted to say thank you for the support you provide to everyone, to our students, and our parents, our district. And I know you say you prioritize, work, but your family does appreciate you.
I know you do.
And you're constantly talking about your children to me, and thank you.
Thank you.
And again, I wanted to ensure that I was there, because you're an amazing person.
Thank you, appreciate that.
And so congratulations again on behalf of the district and the entire board for your excellence and everything that you do.
Thank you.
I know somebody mentioned it looked like a funeral home. I maybe not the best choice of words that day, but
No, I look like a flower.
I wanted to correct them, because I'm like, oh, not a best.
I got so many flowers,
Yes.
beautiful flowers that go in my whole household.
And that's, I wanted to say like a wedding, but that was what they said, and I'm like, okay, but maybe a floral,
A flower.
but it was a beautiful celebration that we were honored.
Thank you. It was a big surprise when I was surprised on Friday. I didn't think I was gonna go full on presentation. But wow, Mr. Tenegri really planned it.
Definitely kept it in the wrap, but it was very well deserved.
Thank
So,
you, thank you.
Thank you so much for what you do, and I welcome you to the front, and your family. We'll take pictures with your hikers and then all of your team.
Okay, so thank you.
Come on.
Thank you.
I'll be in here. And I'll speak. I'll speak out, and then you can take a picture, and then we'll.
Nerea and Erica and Ray and Cece and Paulette, who came from El Peñón. Come on, Paulette. Alfonso, give him the picture.
Cheese.
Sorry. Nice. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Now go down to item D, introduce and welcome our new employees. Dr. Copeland, Assistant Superintendent for Human Resources.
I have the pleasure of introducing and welcoming our new employees. We have 3 that RSVP'd today. When I call your name, go ahead and come on up. Our first new employee is Dr. Jenny Lynn Gunning-Queen, Instructional Assistant, Healthcare at Central School. Come on up. Dr. Gunning-Queen has over 11 years of teaching experience at Don Mariano Marcos Memorial State University in the Philippines. She holds a bachelor's degree in elementary education as well as her master's from Don Mariano Marcos Memorial State University. Also, she has a PhD in special education from the University of Perpetual Health. Welcome, Dr. Jenny Lynn. Our next new employee is Sylvia Cartagena, Campus Student Safety Assistant at Rancho de la Nacion. Come on up. Ms. Cartagena has over 4 years of experience as a patient access representative. She holds an Associate of Science degree in Business Office Administration from San Diego Job Corps. Welcome, Sylvia. And our next new employee is Monica Maldonado, Instructional Assistant Healthcare at John Otis School. Come on up. Ms. Maldonado has been a substitute instructional assistant healthcare for NSC for the past 2 years. She graduated from Sweetwater High School in National City. Welcome, Monica. And welcome to all of our new employees to the new NSD family.
year to meet one.
Welcome.
What year did you graduate?
Yeah.
Thank
Have a good night.
We now have public communications. Public communications provides the public with an opportunity to address the board regarding an item on the agenda or other topic. Anyone wishing to address the board shall submit a request for oral communications card. Cards are available near the entrance of the boardroom and are to be submitted to the recording secretary. A member of the public who wishes to address the board on any such matters is limited to 3 minutes. For one matter, up to the maximum of 5 minutes. For all closed and open session matters. There shall be a limit of 20 minutes for any matter unless such time limit is waived by the majority vote of the board members. The public may not yield any time to other speakers. No board action can be taken.
There are no speakers.
No speakers. No speakers. Now we have accept the agenda.
Motion to approve. Second.
We have a motion by Miss Maria Betancourt Castaneda and a second by Mrs. Sarmiento. Please vote. Yes, Approve the agenda routine. I still have to do consent, so just a minute. Here we go, number 5. Approve consent agenda routine items of business. All items listed under the consent agenda are considered routine and will be acted upon in one action by the board. It is understood that the superintendent has recommended approval for these items. There will be no discussions prior to the time the board votes on the motion unless members of the board, staff, or public request specific items to be discussed and or removed from the consent agenda. All items approved by the board will be deemed considered in full and adopted as recommended.
Motion to approve. Second.
We have a motion to approve by Mrs. Maria Castaneda. Maria Castaneda. And a second by Mrs. Lopez. We are now into the general functions. Superintendent search update consultants, Dr. George Cameron and Mr. Ernesto Anazos will share an update on the superintendent search process.
Thank you. Madam Chair, members of the board, Dr. Brady and staff, it's a pleasure for Mr. Anazos and I to be here, to join you again to provide a summary of some of the information and recurring themes that surfaced over the last 5 weeks in our meetings with various focus groups and also the online survey. The board may recall that about 5 weeks ago, we underscored the importance of this decision you're about to make. And we shared with you that the selection of a superintendent is one of the most, if not the single most important decision a governing body makes. We also shared that this decision derives benefit when there's meaningful input from your stakeholders. And they share with us, parents, the community members, class staff, educated staff, administrators, counselors, everyone. This work should be preserved in the schools. They value their expectations and these leadership skills and priorities that should be manifested by the next superintendent. When we thought about this approach in reaching all stakeholders, one of the things that we were very focused on is bilingual engagement. And you can see that was manifested here tonight by one of your parents. We welcomed parents' ability to be able to speak in Spanish in their native language. And each of our sessions was conducted in that manner. We also offered all the stakeholders who came multiple ways to get involved, multiple ways to participate. We had the in-person focus groups. We also had an online survey. We actually met with 10 focus groups, 11 counting the board. And you can see the names listed there on the screen. We also had in-person participation, engaging and energetic kids in this very room, the student roundtable. I want to take this moment just to congratulate Dr. Brady for having the foresight to bring these students together on a roundtable. It was really refreshing for us. We had to go back and look at our teacher notebooks and our curriculum to be able to see what we're going to do to engage. It was interesting. In addition to those in focus groups, we had an online survey, and that was available for 10 days in English and in Spanish. We had 147 respondents. 2/3 were staff, about 1/3 parents, and we had a small percentage of students and community members at large. When we thought about how we would engage everyone, we wanted them to really participate as much as they could and share their individual reflections. So with many of the parents, we had them involved in gallery walks. Wherever we went, this room included, we had the room listed with chart paper with different aspects, the strengths, the challenges, and desired characteristics. And they got up and they shared their reflections as well in that manner. They were able to do that using dots that we gave them to be able to identify what their preferences were. We also really wanted them involved in table group discussions. So we got them together in groups of about 5, 6, or 7, and we had them share their own individual perceptions with their small group. We had them then reach consensus as a group, identify the 2 or 3 most important issues they wanted to share. They shared them out with the whole group, and Mr. Natsos, because he writes much better than I do, was delegated to be able to write on the board legibly, I will say, Ernie, all of their information. We also had an opportunity, or they also had an opportunity, I would say, to have conversations with us individually as consultants, as your advisors as well. In addition to that, we gathered information through an open-ended survey, an online survey with open-ended comments. And the nice part about that is that we didn't limit it to word count. They could write as little as they wanted, or they could write a story, a book, whatever they wanted. And I think we ended up with about over 20 pages, right, of comments, 21 pages. And you have those in front of you, so you're reading for the weekend. Long week. And what did we ask the stakeholders? We focused on 3 things. What are the things that are working well in the National School District? What are the things that should be given priority and given attention? We want applicants to know that as well. What are the obstacles? What are the things that sometimes are inhibiting us from reaching that next level, from strengthening that area? And what are some new emerging issues that are coming up that the next superintendent must address. We also wanted their input on the skills and dispositions that are most important in the next district leader. And they gave us that information. When we met with the students, we took a little more age-appropriate response or approach. Number 1 and 2 got at strengths. What do you like about your school? What are you proud about your school? What helps you feel safe and supported? 3 and 4 got at the challenges. If the superintendent could fix something or improve something, I wish the superintendent could do X. So these sentence stems or sentence starters, they completed them. And also number 4, when learning is a little harder or less fun, students will learn better if, and they give us that input as well. And very perceptive, I might add. With the adults, we asked also to rate the importance of specific experiences in terms of looking at the qualifications of superintendent applicants. Should they have been a superintendent, an assistant superintendent, have experience in developing budget and planning budgets and school finance, experience in facility management, or successful or proven leadership, proven records in successful leadership in administrative positions of higher complexity and responsibility. Those we asked as well. So what did we learn through the process? Ernie, the envelope, please.
Good evening, President Avalos, board members, executive. I have a lot to share with you tonight, and I have to tell you that the process that Dr. Cameron and I were involved in, engaged in, did more than just give us information that we were asking for. It pretty much reminded us about the community, how closely knit the community is, how much community members feel supportive of one another, and how much they like this district. And so they were really very eager to share with us and help us do this work. The very first thing that we just want to sum up, and I don't think there'd be any surprise here, was the experience level rating that was considered the most important. And as you can see, increasing administrative responsibility, having held various jobs perhaps of increasing responsibility and in a career, was the one that was most highly rated. The online survey, 88% of the respondents rated as a 4, which of course is essential or the most important. It's not surprising that all of these things are important, but that was the one that clearly got the most support. Looking at what are the strengths here, and Dr. Cameron explained what those strengths mean. Those are the things that are working well, those are the things that people are proud of, those are the things that we should all be thankful for that are going well in the district, and probably should continue to be supported. And the very first thing that came up just about in every meeting that we had, and also was strongly represented on the online survey, had to do with a family-oriented district culture. We're talking about the culture of this national school district, and it was something that everyone both embraces and celebrates. Who responded to this. Also, we got a lot of support, and I want to say the way this is set up, Dr. Cameron did a nice job of holding actual quotations. These are the words that we either heard, listed, or in fact took word for word from the online survey to sort of show you where the cluster or the headline comes from. In this case, and I'm not going to read all of these, but for example, National School Districts of Family Showcasing Care, Compassion, and Community Diversity. I think whoever wrote that did a very nice job of summing it up, because we've heard a lot of that type of talk about the National School District culture. Other things that were considered important strengths and qualities of the National School District is the expanded learning opportunities and community partnerships. Outside learning activities and partnerships are imperative. Community schools initiatives are a strong foundation. I know there was mention of a couple of specific ocean connections, gardens, that kind of thing. Also, highly regarded in the district are teacher and staff commitment. Again, you can see the quote there that was, I believe, from one of the online surveys. commitment to whole child development that was recognized. And I'm guessing that a lot of this came from staff members, classified certificated staff as well, because we've got some of the language here that would be appropriate for staff members using. PBIS promotes more caring, positive school environment for student success, strong commitment to student support services, which we celebrated in fact today. Congratulations. And support for families and parent engagement. That's also something that is valued by the respondents, both online and also in all of the groups that we ran with, as Dr. Cameron mentioned, the parents, ELAC, PTA groups, and staff groups. Challenges. These are obstacles or emerging issues that the next superintendent must address. And a lot of this is, in fact, the very first bullet here is one that I think was probably mentioned in every single group and mentioned multiple times on the online survey. The idea that we do have budget limitations, that budget will be something that will challenge the next superintendent, will challenge probably everyone in the district to some degree, and how whatever does happen with the budget limitations, and there was a recognition, of course, of not only is this a standalone money issue, but it has to do with declining enrollment. We had long conversations about absenteeism in the district. And so there's an understanding of where funding comes from. There's an understanding that it's likely to be challenging. And that came from parents, PTA, and of course staff members as well, and very frequently on the online responses. Student achievement will continue to be a challenge. There was mention of, obviously, of the achievement gap that everyone's fairly aware of. And parents, teachers, classified, certificated, even community members recognize that this is a very high priority, and it is indeed a challenge with both English language learners, and again, there was mention of gaps multiple times. Also, into that, the idea of supporting high quality, consistent instruction across schools. That was mentioned as a challenge as well. We sense that doing the right thing by kids in terms of meeting each kid at where they are and bringing them forward and maximizing their potential is something that needs to be done, can be done, and will be challenging to do across the district moving forward. There was some concern about curriculum changes and that this was considered challenging or would be challenging to a superintendent coming into the district. There was a sense that these would be more likely to have come from people who are in classrooms, I would say classified and certificated teachers. There's a sense that there have been in curriculum many changes. Sometimes teachers feel overwhelmed by the changes of curriculum. And again, these are the words of the teachers or classified staff, I believe. Never feel fully capable of teaching one when another is thrown into the mix. There's a sense that there's a lot going on and that it's hard for the teachers to be their best selves with that particular curriculum before something else comes down the pipe. So strengthening instructional coherence was something that, again, this was coming from certainly certificated and classified staff. District systems, processes, and procedures. And I think that this ties in a little bit maybe with the way some people were feeling about curriculum too. What we heard, and this is a direct quote, that need instructional consistencies, developing systems followed by sites to allow for more accurate data, program alignment, clear communication of teacher expectations. That's part of a quote. There's a number of mentions both in your packet and in our group meetings that had to do with, it sounds as if there's some concern with things being done consistently from site to site. There was mention of standards of practice. I know in a couple of our breakout sessions, people were saying, well, we do it this way at our site and it's done this way at that site. And so there was some element of incongruence I want to say, from site to site. And that was something that the certificate staff and some of the classified staff felt was a challenge. Special education came up on everybody's list, including certainly the parents and all the groups, I believe, including our community members, recognizing that special education is a complicated and growing element. It's not just emerging, it seems to be becoming a bigger issue for school districts, and certainly this is no different. There was a sense that special education was also tied to budget concerns. It was tied to the idea that perhaps there needs to be more professional development for people who are not necessarily special educators or even classified people working with special ed children, but so that a larger swath of support personnel, perhaps office staff, librarians, whatever, are given tools that can help them also, because they often find themselves working with special ed students and they feel that there's that they might not have all the tools they need to handle that situation as well as they'd like to. Behavior issues come up a lot whenever there's a discussion of special education. The student safety issue here was an interesting one because it basically, as you can see here, addressed student family safety concerns related to broader socio-political factors affecting the community. The conversation, when we sort of drilled down on that, really had to do with, I'll give you an example I did not see coming. It had to do with parents feeling that their children were less safe because they themselves, the parents, were no longer walking their kids to school, or they had concerns about ICE, they had concerns about, I'll call it the broader socio-political factors. But it came up in a couple of sessions. I know classified staff mentioned it as well. And the parents certainly did. So it had to do with parents who felt reluctant to walk their young child to school, although they've been doing it in the past, and they're no longer doing it. It left them feeling understandably concerned about children's safety, both on the sidewalks and then that also became expanded a little bit, I think, with PTA. It just has to do with overall supervision of kids. I mean, that's a thing that we all worry about, and so it wasn't just this issue, but it does have to do with. I remember a couple of folks talking about more supervision at lunches, at recesses, when kids arrive at school, when kids are dismissed, that kind of thing. So that's how this landed on the list of challenges. I want to stop there though for a moment, because what I'd like to do is let you, before we get on to the characteristics, I do want to point out that in the packet you have, when you don't need to look at it right now so much, I just want to let you know that there are lots of different references to these sort of clustered topics. So that's how these topics made it onto this list to be presented to you this evening. But what you will find in here is of those numbers of 21 pages of responses on the online survey, there were over 246 written responses by folks who were responding. And you'll also find by each stakeholder group with the date of the meeting, some of the language that you're finding in this report as well. I just wanted to let you know that that's all there to kind of back up some of these things and to give you a little more insight. The leadership traits necessary for success, consider this has to do with the characteristics that the groups or folks responding to the online survey would be looking for in a new leader. Again, on top of the list, and as it should be, and as we found out with the strengths of this National School District, understanding knowledge of National City Community. There were many comments, such as the ones that you can read right now on the board, about how important it is that the person, a candidate, a strong candidate, would have this kind of relationship to the national city community or a similar community. And these are just a couple. There were many comments in your packet. And an extension of that, I think that these words came up as well, and so they kind of deserve their own bullet point on this presentation. Being culturally responsive, bilingual fluency, those both came up frequently. And in fact, in your own packets, each of the groups, we use a number of different ways of kind of valuing or weighting the comments that were made. Typically what would happen, and similar to what we've done in a workshop here, people would come up with their ideas, and then we would go back and kind of narrow it down to kind of come up with the ones that had the most consensus or resonated the most with everyone in the room. And this was something that came up like that on all the lists, and also was frequently mentioned in the online responses. So this talks to bilingualism, to cultural responsiveness. In fact, we've included some of the Spanish comments as well from the online responses from the online survey. But similar demographics, I think, really tells the story. That and the previous slide where we're talking about the community of National City and the National School District. These are characteristics that came up as well, and this is language also taken. Instructional leadership was obviously a very important characteristic or trait for every group. These were some of the things that were called from, again, from the written responses on the survey. Someone who understands English, educating English learners, instructional vision, goal-oriented. These were important elements for the respondents. Relationship builder. I know this also seems, as I'm going through this is also kind of relevant to the community here, because the community has been built on family relationships, on school relationships, on district relationships, and so that would be something that indeed would be continued with a person who's a relationship builder. And so these are some of the responses that had to do with relationships. Supportive of teachers and principals through coaching, resources, clarifications, willing to talk face-to-face. Let's see. Next. Visible presence. People like to see their superintendent. We're going to do a lot of visits. Dr. Brady, visible at schools without entourage. This reflects, I think, having to do with being at schools, but not necessarily interrupting things at schools. And we heard that a couple of times. It's a visit that's more organic. Student focused, of course, doing what is right for students, even when it's hard or unpopular, putting kids first always. And then humble, empathetic, transparent, ethical. And you can see what some of the comments are that lead us to put that. From a student's perspective, the kids were real cute and smart, as Dr. Kimmer mentioned. But these were things that they kind of, we sort of had to play around a little bit with sentence frames, et cetera, to get the kids to kind of come up with some of these ideas. But all of the ideas, and there are many more in the packets, in the blue folder, were from kids and in their own language. But these are important to kids. Keeps our schools clean and looking nice was actually top rated at that meeting. But you can see here that these are important things as well. From the student perspective, they, as I said, they were able to complete sentence frames and talk about some descriptors of superintendent and so on. You'll find that in your packet. They did a great job, and they were really patient with us. Do you want to sort of sum up where the data I've just gone through? And
We developed this slide so that you could see in a nutshell what the job entails. It's no easy task, bless you. But it also will help us because from this perspective right here, we'll be able to sit down and begin to formalize the interview process so that we can try to glean from applicants those leadership qualities that will address the strengths and will address the challenges. So that's why this is helpful in terms of being able to organize the applicants that are becoming for interview to be able to respond in a way how these things are manifested by word and deed by the applicants that come. So where do we go from here? The position is open. It closes a month from today. We will continue to recruit and engage potential candidates, calling our superintendent friends and other colleagues as well for qualified candidates. As the applications are completed through EdJoin and they provide all the information, their letters of recommendation, their references, all the application materials as well, then Mr. Nausses and I will begin to, I should say, conduct a thorough background checks. And we want those to be as thorough as we can make them. We're also going to develop for you a comprehensive matrix that we'll all review in closed session, and that'll determine then who you'd like to consider for an interview. The window closes a month from today. We'll review the reference checks. We'll come back on that day, on the 11th, if you'll have us, and we'll provide a summary report how the recruitment is coming along. On the 18th, we'll review the applicants in closed session with you. And we set aside March 25th. I put the 26th there in the event you have, let's say, 2 finalists, and you want to bring them back the next day. So I left that there as a possibility as well. We can talk about that, because I know all 5 of you need to be involved in this process. And that's where we are. Questions?
Thank you very much. Thank you for the time and the investment that I know that this has been. And thank you for honoring our community and our needs. I do appreciate you reaching out, making sure that we added some groups to your list, and you made sure to do that, and I'm thankful for it. One of the things with all of this that I am wondering about, how can we keep information as neutral as possible? And I guess this is what I'm thinking about. How can we keep names off, or possibly current, places of employment off of the information that we receive, so that, for instance, maybe we receive something and it's from an individual who's an assistant superintendent in Disneyland, just so that I don't name a name of anything. How can we drop Disneyland so that we can see roles that the person has held, possibly with no name, so that we aren't leaning, and that we aren't also, there would be no reason to accuse us of favoritism if we don't know who's there. And I feel like that could be very important. The last thing that we want is for any group to turn around and believe that this was, I don't have somebody in my pocket, and I don't want anybody to think that I've had somebody in my pocket. And so
it's possible, and we know this is how people work. It's possible that if we saw a name that we, oh, yeah, I know that person. But when we look at the criteria, they don't line up. So how can we best evaluate people as neutrally as we can? I'm asking for your wisdom and guidance on that
So
when it comes to that point.
yeah, there are a couple things, and I like when it comes to that point. Right now, of course, we've all agreed, and that's just the integrity of a practice such as this, that all of this is kept confidential to begin with. When Dr. Cameron or I talk to colleagues in the wild, out of the field, folks who are still in positions and at the county, it was to get leads. Are there people out there that maybe should know this is a posted position? We are going to put together an Excel spreadsheet, which we can manipulate in all sorts of ways, to the point where we could leave out the types of information that you might want to not look at the first time you review the candidates. So there's all different ways we can present the information to you. I feel, and as we've discussed before, that the most important practice, besides finding the best candidate, is preserving confidentiality and the integrity of the process, because there are already people assuming that there's already some decisions made, and there are absolutely none. We absolutely even have an applicant yet. I mean, because it was just posted. It's a complicated post to respond to, because the individual needs to not just get letters of recommendation, but the letters of recommendation need to be specific to this position, because that's the specificity of National School District and National City is the highest rated value of everyone who participated in this process. So that's why when we posted it with that element. The person also needs to provide 3 telephone numbers. The issue is there are, I think, 14 elements to get through the EdJoin application to begin with. You have to upload your resume, upload the letter of introduction, which hopefully would tell a lot about the individual. But I think what Dr. Cameron and I can do is look at ways to make that as blind as possible for as long as possible until we get to a point where we really have to sit down and say, hey, let's pick some folks to interview.
So we would need you to share with us how much or how little you want us to put together.
Because roles are important, but again, roles attached to a district, and we're going to turn around and go, oh, that's Fred over in Disneyland, and that's not, and all of our knowledge or lack of, or the hearsay or lack of comes with that, and that just by itself, I feel like it becomes a problem. And so as long as we can go with looking at information not attached to identifiers, and as well as you can do that, I feel like we owe that to our community, we owe that to our employees, we owe that to the people who are applying, so that it will be as clean a process and as unbiased a process as we can possibly make it. I don't want their names. I don't want to know where they were or where they've been. I would like to know the person is an assistant superintendent. They have been a principal for 15 years. They were a teacher, for 10 years before that. And that, at this point, I'm done. I don't want to carry the extras that make it look like we're cherry picking people.
One of the challenges that we're going to face in that process is the letters of recommendation. Because many times a letter of recommendation is gonna be written on letterhead in some cases, most cases. And we can redact, go redacting. We can redact this, you know, to the extent, so we're gonna need some direction from all 5 of you to know how we can put our heads together and figure out how to present this information in as neutral a fashion as you're requesting, as you're stating, but also give you some basis for assessing the qualifications of that individual.
I know I'm asking you for a dance, but I want to honor the fact that we are representing thousands of people right now.
Gotcha.
And speaking to that, my other point, and I've mentioned it before, I'll mention that out loud. I would very much like some of those references and some of those phone calls to be to the union presidents as we move forward with people, to the best of your ability to get hold of their union leadership and find out whether or not, again, doesn't have to, we actually aren't necessarily looking for best friends, but we are looking for respectful and honoring people when it comes to our labor partners as well.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Trustee Betancourt Castaneda.
Thank you. I would like to agree with Trustee Gates. I would like it to be very clear and transparent. I don't want to have any accusations that we had anybody in our pocket, because that would be something that, because this is the biggest decision as a board member we are going to be making. I apologize in advance. I know that this is going to add a lot more work, but I know that we would have to try to redact as much as possible, to ensure that we can try to make it as as clear as possible, that we don't have the information ahead of time. And then once we do have to get to that point, then I know we're going to have to get to that point, because we want to ensure to everybody, to all stakeholders, that we did have it was very clear that we did it with as much of a open-minded process and with much intent to the to the process in terms of what we wanted for the best fit for our district, with no ill intent, and nobody was favored or anything like that. And as for making a request, I would actually also like if we would make some phone calls to prior board members or board members that are in their current seats or prior seats that were in positions that they may have served with. So that they.
So I think that those requests make perfect sense in terms of your goal of making this as transparent, confidential, and neutral as possible. There is a point, and when I would like to make both of those calls, but I feel like it should happen perhaps when you're close to having a finalist, because those are very intrusive and invasive calls. I hope not intrusive calls for someone who might in fact will not be a finalist.
Right.
So we hear you though.
Right. I just wanted to make it that request with everybody present. Thank you.
Trustee Lopez.
Yes. Thank you again for your presentation. I just wanted to mention that I am not available on the 26th or 27th of March due to my site. Thank you.
Any other comments or any other discussions? You all okay? I want to thank you for doing a great job. I know that it's been hard and you've done a lot, especially meeting with all the groups. And I think I trust you that you know exactly what we're looking for. and that you will bring the right candidates for us to choose. Thank you for all your hard work, because I know it's not just an 8-hour job. We've got a lot of things that you've been doing, and I put all my trust in you too. You know what we want, you know what we need. Mr. Cameron, you've been here for years, and my trust is in you. And Mr.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your work and all that you do.
Thank you again for that. Thank you.
We're now on 6B, item 6B, approve membership to renew to the National Association of Latino Elected Appointed Officials. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
We have a motion by trustee Gates, a second by trustee Bettencourt Castaneda. Please vote.
Item passes unanimously.
Item 7, a report on impact of student wellness and schools climate by Dr. Philly Young.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good evening to all. Thank you, Board President Avalos, trustees, Dr. Brady, of course, and Executive Cabinet. Tonight, we're pleased to be able to have the opportunity to share information on how our NSD students are supported throughout our schools. With our main mission of improving student outcomes for all, we recognize that the needs of our students include both academic and social emotional needs. So we're fortunate to have amazing staff and the support of this board to ensure that we are removing barriers to success and providing resources and interventions to assist our students and our families. And so this evening, we're going to be able to provide an overview of this critical work. But we begin with an acknowledgement of the importance of creating those optimal conditions for learning. We are fostering environments where every student and staff member feels a sense of belonging and safety. By prioritizing a positive school climate, we lay the necessary emotional and social foundation for academic excellence. Our success is driven by a team of highly skilled, dedicated professionals who are committed to the whole child. We continue to invest in their growth to ensure that they have the tools to meet the diverse needs of our students every day. We have implemented an administrator dashboard that focuses our most critical areas. This tool allows our leadership to monitor progress and to ensure that we stay laser focused on our specific strategic goals. Recognizing that education extends beyond the classroom, we are continually strengthening our partnerships and community resources. We know that those supports ensure that our families have access to the essential services that they need to support their children. We use our student data always so that we can identify trends in order to be responsive to student needs. And so, as you know, to that end, we work to provide resources and supports to our families in various areas. And this is something that we publicize. It's on our website. We share it with our school principals, and it's out to be shared with our families as well. But those resources are from accessing our after-school programming to food assistance, to immigration resources, to mental health supports. We're constantly really looking for ways to ensure that our families are supported. Our newest area of supports that we are providing to our military families. Not only are we grateful to our military families for their service, but we recognize that these students may have unique needs impacted by frequent transitions or relocations. So our Student Support Services team, along with our school site teams, are working to ensure that we are providing our military families with those resources. And in fact, we have 100% of our schools that have been designated as Purple Star schools, naming really their commitment to support. In fact, NSD will be recognized by the County Office of Education on March 18th, so that's a save the date for you. Again, just to recognize those efforts, of course, and of course, we hope that our board will be able to attend. Additionally, this year marked the launch of our community schools work. And so we now have 7 of our schools participating in the state-funded program and 2 in the federal grant program. And so we have welcomed, with the board support, we've welcomed our community school TOSAs at each of those schools, and will continue to work actively connecting students and families to the supports and resources that they need. And that said, how do we know what services are needed and what should we provide? So we rely and look at data. So we look at several data points. In fact, today we were out having a great meeting with our PTA roundtable officers to gather their input on the LCAP. But we also look at our California Healthy Kids Survey as another data point. That's an annual metric that we use to monitor our school climates. And so I know that this has been shared with you in the past. Our student sense of safety saw a dip in 2024 and then picked back up. But we do try to go beyond those numbers. We know that there was an interest to better understand those numbers. And so we went ahead and kind of went to the source and asked the students themselves. And so as mentioned before, we are fortunate here that we have our Superintendent Student Roundtable. And that group is actually made up of existing 6th graders, and those are the students that took the California Healthy Kids Survey. And so we asked them directly to get their input on their experiences within our district. And so the Ed Services team went and participated and joined that roundtable group and discussed with them these certain topics, really to hear straight from them their responses. And so we asked them about their thoughts about school. We asked them if they felt engaged and interested, and they were provided, as always, very honest responses. We talked to them about the new Fox Science adoption and what that felt like and what their perception was of that implementation. We asked them about attendance. We talked about the importance of attendance and really what we needed to do as an organization. What do we need to do to ensure that all of our students come to school consistently? And related to this specific topic for this evening, we asked them about school safety and really wanted to dig into this information and find out what it meant for them. And they came up with some pretty great insights. They talked about safety and really described it as being connected to relationships. They talked about having trusted friends or supportive adults, that they needed that in order to feel safe, and that those strong relationships sometimes might cause students to feel less secure if they don't feel connected, which is why, and you'll hear more about that in the presentation, there really has been a focus on supporting our adults to make sure that we're being overt about making those connections with our students and with our community. They talked about physical and supervision issues. They talked about some concerns, playground accidents, potentially easy campus access, a perception that maybe there's not enough supervision when they're out there playing. So that was another discussion, and again, that's something that we try to respond to. We provide professional development to our campus supervisors, and again, that'll be shared and discussed as another area that we always want to be attending to. They shared about the drills that we're required to have, that those sometimes can create anxiety as we do our safety preparedness drills, which makes sense. idea, the news that's out there about school violence, those types of fears that are related to events outside of school. And those are the things that they reference as making students feel perhaps uneasy. And they also talked about students that they generally feel safest with family, and we tried to probe a little bit and ask what that really meant to them. And they just shared that they feel more secure at home because they're with their family, right? They're with their trusted caregivers. It's their home. So once we got into those conversations with them, it made total sense. They also shared, though, about peer behavior and bullying as ongoing concerns. Those are areas that they described as perhaps having a classmate that might be unkind, or that there's conflict among students, potentially just how that's handled and what they would deem that maybe that's an aspect that might make them feel unsafe. And so you're going to be hearing from the team a little bit more about some of those tier 1 strategies that have been implemented across our schools to try to make sure that we're attending to that. And so we respond to this data and we continue to provide services to our students and our families. And it's really the staff from our student support services and our school counselors who will be able to share more information about the work that they do on a daily basis in the service of our students and our families. So next up, I'm going to invite up Dr. Vargas, our Director of Student Support Services.
Good evening, Board President, Trustees, Executive Cabinet. Thank you, Dr. Filia, for that introduction. As Dr. Filia noted, we're constantly looking for ways to increase student engagement and connectedness. Tonight, you're going to hear from select members of the school counseling team on the work that they have done, along with other school team members, to move the needle on positive behavior intervention and supports, social emotional learning, as well as ways to respond to students who need crisis intervention. But before you hear from our team members, I would like to thank the board for prioritizing student mental health supports. The board has recognized that without students feeling engaged and safe at school, learning cannot take place. So thank you for making that a priority. And that being said, I would like to introduce Ms. Rosa Lopez, our school counselor at Cleveland.
Thank you, Dr. Vargas. Good evening, Board President Avalos, board members, executive cabinet. Thank you for allowing me to be here this evening. Today, I get to present positive behavior intervention supports, which is our PBIS. PBIS is a school-wide framework that teaches and encourages positive behaviors to create a safe and respectful and supportive environment for our students. But what PBIS really brings to our schools is that we prioritize the students' academics and social emotional well-being. With that said, with mental health. Through this framework, we prioritize the importance of school climate, making sure that our students feel welcome and accepted at school, and then that they feel a sense of belonging, because that's very important going along with safety. Through the PBIS, there are 3 tiers. You can see tier 1 is the area where it's universal. It's the area where it's preventive in the classrooms. Teachers teach expectations, and they support the students, and we make sure that all the students the needs are being met. Our goal in tier 1 is to prevent behavior and challenges. Tier 2 is the area where we target some students at our school, and our goal here is to reduce problems, behaviors, and build skills with their students. That looks more like small group instruction with social skills, maybe anger management, maybe grief, right? Whatever our panorama survey data tells us how we can better guide our students. And lastly, tier 3 is the intensive support that services our few students. And our goal here is to address individuals' needs and promote long-term success. This looks like for students who need support from a Vista agency or Care Solas. And this is where we really target crisis interventions, and we want to make sure that our student is succeeding, of course, with the supports with the parents and the community. Next slide this is how we celebrate here at school. When we see that our students are engaged and the students are feeling the love, they're welcome, because that's our job as a counselors. We want our students to make sure that they, the moment that they step in school, that they understand the expectations, right? Around our, I'm pretty sure you're all walked around our campuses and you see all these beautiful signs, right? That explains to our students about their expectations. And all this is taught in the classroom and also by all the school counselors. Supporting our social emotional needs. We, in a lot of our campuses, we have Calming Corners, and Calming Corners has definitely helped our students to take a little mental break. Like I need to take a little break so that I can continue with my day. So Calming Corners have been around and are very helpful at our schools. And most importantly, our students want to feel rewarded, right? They want to feel like I did it, I was kind today, I was respectful. And at every school, the tickets look different, but this is one from Kimball. And every Friday, or depending on the school, students get rewarded for the excellence that they do here at school. Next, every year we do get a visit from the Tier Fidelity Inventory, and this is a self-assessment tool that helps schools measure how well PBIS is implemented at every school. And again, this goes across all three tiers, Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3. Through this, how it looks like, they make sure that we at our school, are we going through the guidelines of, are we teaching behavior expectations? Are we using the data from Panorama? Are we using it correctly? And the external rater evaluates the implementation. So it's a long process. We sit with our PBIS team and we discuss if we have implemented. Why it matters to us is because we want to make sure that we are consistent with what we do, and that if what we're doing, is it effective? Is it working? It also matters because it has decision making and we include all our data. But the most important thing is that we continue to improve our school. That's what we want best. And lastly, I do want to recognize, as a result of all the great work that I think it's great work. It is. We do so much for our kiddos, but after all this, we get recognized. And the following schools have been recognized for their excellent recognition for this past year. As you can see, platinum, we have more schools in platinum than we have the gold and also the silver. So we're very happy that we have grown in these areas, and every year as we meet with their TFI representative, it's our time to grow and it's our time to shine. Thank you. Next, I'll pass it along to Ms. Erika.
Good evening, Board President, trustees, and Executive Cabinet. My name is Erika Durazo, and I'm the school counselor at Kimball. As you can see on this slide, the school counseling framework is aligned with the CASEL social and emotional learning competencies that fall under those 5 categories: self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, relationship skills, and responsible decision-making. SEL is supported as part of the school's comprehensive multi-tier systems of supports framework. Students complete the Panorama SEL survey twice each school year, and the data that you see here reflects results from the past 3 school years. School counselors support SEL and the transition of instruction. Oh, it's missing. Oh, here, sorry. The transition of instruction. School counselors support SEL, and staff recently participated in a professional development on everyday practices using Meetup Buddy Up to strengthen classroom community and increase student connectedness. So school counselors provide support across all tiers of the MTSS framework. And in Tier 1, school counselors deliver SEL instruction to all students within the classroom setting. In Tier 2, school counselors facilitate small group interventions targeting emotion regulation, self-management, engagement, and social awareness using Panorama SEL data. And in Tier 3, school counselors collaborate with administrators and school psychologists to support behavior intervention plans, and conduct risk assessments, as well as our community partner agencies such as Moa Vista and Care Solis to refer them for more supports. And as a result, 90% of NSD schools were recognized as the healthiest schools for creating healthier environments for students and staff. Thank you, and I now hand it off to my colleague, Andrea Andrade.
Good evening, Board President Adams, Dr. Brady, trustees, Executive Cabinet. I am Andrea Dianda, School Counselor at Olivet, and I'll be going a little more in detail on our Tier 3, specifically on our crisis response, beginning with threat assessments. Threat assessments are an administrator-led investigation. The school counselor's role is more of a support in this process. We assist with providing insight with social, emotional, and the mental health perspective, and we also provide counseling and supports for the student and the families as needed. In regards to suicide risk assessments, the role shifts. School counselors and school psychologists are the trained professionals to conduct this assessment. When a student expresses suicidal ideation, we use a formal screener to evaluate the level of risk. And based on those results, we implement next steps, which may include parent notification, safety plans, connecting them to outside services or crisis response as needed. This slide highlights our district's involvement in the COPES initiative, which stands for Creating Opportunities in Preventing and Eliminating Suicide. COPES is led by the San Diego County Office of Education and is focused on strengthening school crisis response systems and suicide prevention efforts. We are so lucky to have a group of counselors and a school psychologist as part of this work in our district, and we are dedicated to strengthen our systems and protocols with the guidance of our county office. As a member of this initiative, I can speak on where we are now and the work that we would like to continue. At this time, we ensure that all staff, certificated and classified, receive yearly training at the beginning of each school year on our current crisis response protocol so that everyone is informed and aware on how to detect concerns and how to look for help immediately. Our team is also working on our current protocol, and we'd like to say we're still in transition. This includes implementing a new screening tool and a new partnership for emergency services, and this is our mobile crisis response team. Well, it's not ours, but we're partnering with the mobile crisis response team, and that is a behavioral health crisis service made up of mental health clinicians who help respond, assess, and help us de-escalate the crisis that our students are experiencing. And you can see this, it's this purple van, we call it. It's a purple van with purple uniforms, and they're a lot more friendly looking than calling law enforcement for support in this case. And lastly, this shows where we are headed as a district in strengthening our crisis response systems. Our first priority is maintaining consistency across all school sites. To do this, we are implementing standardized action plans using tools developed by the San Diego County Office of Education. We'll also monitor our training compliance and ensure that our crisis teams are up to date with the latest professional development and protocols. Another key focus area is improving communication between schools and mental health services. And so for this, we're going to be using a new form to inform the agency that we're referring to what prompted their referral. And this is another resource from the county. And then finally, all of this work supports a broader goal of increasing mental health awareness across our school communities. So we'd like to accomplish this by providing suicide prevention training for both staff, families, in our community. And some of us are hoping to become trainers through the Trainer of Trainers program, again with the county. Thank you for your time.
to Board President Avalos and board members, trustees, and executive cabinet. I am the coordinator of student support services, and I have the absolute pleasure of being one of the leaders alongside Dr. Vargas with our school counselor team and our school psychologist team. And I would be remiss in this report if we did not come back to our San Diego County Elementary School Counselor of the Year. This is a very high honor, and one of the things that makes it even higher honor is that we have someone that is leading our group. And so aside from her experience, she also works very, very well and tightly with our counselor group. She is a leader, and it's somebody that we really respect and are very proud of her. And we also like to celebrate the impact of our school counseling team. Last week was National School Counseling Week, which comes from the Association of School Counselors of America. The theme this past year was Amplify Success. I can't amplify it enough because they do such a beautiful job. See the flowers? The flowers. So we had an opportunity to celebrate together. Ms. Lopez receiving her recognition. But the thing that really comes into play is we should celebrate our school counselors every single day because they are the leaders at our school campuses when it comes to mental health supports alongside their school psychologists. And we consider ourselves very fortunate to have two very strong teams supporting our mental health at our school sites. And with that, I'd like to conclude our presentation and open it for Dr. Vargas to answer tough questions. But I'll be happy to answer questions also. Thank you so much.
Trustee Bettencourt Castaneda.
Thank you. And if you notice, it does resemble a heart.
Doesn't it? It does.
We're the heart of the school.
Yeah. I would like to thank everybody here and for your presentation. I know I've mentioned this before. This is information that is very near and dear to my heart, and it's very personal to me. So thank you for being here. I know this is not something that is new that we're doing on campus, and I know that this is something that we've had presented to us before, but thank you for coming back and presenting much more in depth and reminding us of all the work that's being done on campus. This is important work that's being done, and it's very scary that we have to keep reminding our families the importance of mental health. So please doing what you're doing, please continue. Our families need the support as much as our children need the support. So thank you, because your job is very important to everyone out there, not just our children, not just our family, but our community. So thank you for being here. And I can't thank you enough, because your work, everything you do, is very important and it means a lot. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'd like to thank you on behalf of all lieutenant counselors and 12 school psychologists. We understand the work is important and we appreciate your support.
Trustee Gates. Trustee Gates. I'm waiting.
Oh,
Okay, Trustee Lopez.
Thank you again, and congratulations again, Ms. Lopez, on your recognition. I just wanted to know more about what is the status of our team doing trauma-informed workshops for all staff and as well as for parents so that they also can receive some healing.
Trustee Lopez, thank you so much for that question. As we noted earlier in the slides, we're currently in a transition stage where we are slowly releasing Tier 1 SEL instruction to our classroom teachers. I think this provides an opportunity not only for students to feel more connected within that classroom setting to their teacher, but also it opens us up to have structured supports at the Tier 2 level, which the focus has been and will be on trauma-informed care. So once we go through this transition, We will be expanding that as one of the tools that our school-based mental health teams have to use and provide PD, because trauma-informed practices isn't just a come see me for 30 minutes. It's a pervasive practice that's going to require intensive professional development. It's going to require mind shifts from all of our staff. And so I think the work that we have started to do with the support of NCETA, with administration, has prepped us for that next step.
Trustee Gates. Thank you for sharing all of this tonight. And I had made a note earlier, actually, when we were celebrating you about, the fact that we do have counselors at every site, that's been very intentional on the part of the district, and we've, like, with NCETA, trying to make sure that you all are covered, protected, and yes,
Thank you, appreciate that.
and that is something that 1,000 years ago, when I was a child, we acted like kids' only issue was school when they came in the door. And finally, we understand that that is not true. And I was thinking about the fact here, and I don't know how right or wrong this question is, so I'm gonna apologize ahead of time. But I think that we tend to think when we're talking about elementary school students that the fact that you focused on suicide prevention is less necessary because they're kids. And so my question that I don't want to overstep with the number of suicide concerns we do address annually. Is there a general number that we could have parents and families understand? I'm afraid that we brush it off because we think that a kid's just having a hard time and not understanding that what this actually, that we have community members who lose their children because we treat it as, oh, they're little, they aren't, and don't acknowledge the truth of even our elementary students choosing not to face tomorrow instead of. So I would like some reality if that, just so that we can have whoever's listening understand, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
And I'm going to very much handle this with care because I believe it is important for us to do that. So one of the initiatives that we've been working with since I've been here is the San Diego County Office of Education creating opportunities to eliminate and prevent suicide COPES. We have actually 2 of our team members from NSD here that have done some incredible work behind that. Part of that was the crisis response. With that, we in our department do track everything. So I don't want to give a number at this time, but it is something that I can share with Dr. Filia and Dr. Brady to share as appropriate, because it is something that we also want to make sure that we protect our children, right? So, but it is tracked very detailed in terms of student age, gender, ethnic background, language, different family. And so that risk assessment that Andrea spoke about, and she's one of our COPES members, she spoke about, that has been the work that we've been focused on. And so that Columbia screener is going to be something that we want to make sure that we train everybody, because there are some very specific questions that will allow our mental health professionals to move in the right direction to protect and support our children. And I say that very clearly, protect and support our children. So yes, we have numbers and we have a very robust tracking system, and we will continue that even when the grant ends in June.
So maybe to reword. We never want to assume that because our children are young, that they aren't carrying a lot of hurt or that they don't know who to go to. And so I'm thankful for you carrying this weight. And thank you for presenting. Dr. Filial, thank you also for paying attention to that safety thing that we talk about, we've been bringing up and breaking that down and actually digging into that some more so that we have a little bit better understanding of when our kids say that we don't always feel safe, what that means for them. Thank you.
I want to thank you, all of your counselors. I know the job is not easy, but it has to come from your heart. And it seems that you are certainly giving our children in National City the best things that you could possibly do for them. You are helping our students, and you're all appreciated. You are all appreciated for what you're doing. Thank you so much for all that you do. Any other? Dr. Brady?
Yeah, I just want to echo all the sentiments and the thanks to all of you, and just add that all of our digital devices have tracking systems for everything our students do. Our securely filter goes home on the student district devices, and if a student were to search something that was concerning, not only does the school principal get an email, but all of our counselors and our psychologists do, because we can't hope that a principal's looking at their phone or their email to get that. We want to make sure that somebody intervenes immediately when something like that happens. So just thank you for being on call for our kids 24/7. We really do appreciate it. And the last thing I want to just say is, you can see that group up there, everybody's smiling, and Rosa's surrounded by all the love there, as well deserved. But counselors and psychologists tend to take the brunt of everybody's pain, and there's always not somebody there always for you guys. And so it's just really nice to witness the team that you've built, that you can be there to support each other as well, because you carry, like you were mentioning, a lot of that weight of other people's pain. So I just am really honored to work alongside you guys and just to see what you do for our kids. So thank you.
Thank you. I'll now go to item B, to amend the CT 3858 special education memorandum of understanding with the Tigray Charter School exhibit. So do I have a motion?
I'll second.
I have a motion by Mrs. Sarmiento and a second by Trustee Gates. Please vote.
May I have a question?
Of course.
Just clarify first.
Yes.
So my understanding, I think Dr. Filial, this is just clear for you or from you. Integrity, since it's specifically with regard to special education memorandum, they, as a school, accept students regardless of need, regardless of intervention. I want to make sure that that is as clear as possible to anyone at Integrity or who's in the community wondering. And so could you please just clarify, because that's my understanding. They absolutely do, but I'd like to hear it from you.
Yes, absolutely. So it is a requirement, an obligation really, that they do accept any student who comes to them. If a student enrolls and indicates that they have an IEP, so that they receive special education services, then they would need to be reviewing that IEP and then making sure that perhaps it's a 30-day placement so that they can assess and see how that student does in the given setting and then make any necessary modifications. As part of our oversight, we do take a look at their data. We have an RSP teacher there that's part of our staff. So we are constantly taking a look at their caseload, the work that they're doing. I just spoke with Teresa today. So we're in constant collaboration to ensure that they feel supported also, but that they are serving our students as we expect.
Thank you. Please vote.
Item passes unanimously.
She just said it passed unanimously. Oh, thank you. We now go to item C, amend CT 4060 with MCF Consulting to provide billing services for Medi-Cal and Medicaid programs. Amendment of this item will allow the district to bill for administrative services through MCF Consulting Medi-Cal and Medicaid programs. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve with discussion.
Second. I have a motion by
Motion to approve with discussion.
Motion to approve the discussion by trustee Castaneda and a second by trustee Gates.
Also a
Please
discussion. We have to discuss question.
Go ahead.
Okay. So my question is, why would we not hire a person versus contract this out?
So this has been a practice. We actually, the idea of the billing piece of trying to make sure that we are reimbursed for these services through the LEA BOP program is there's a lot of requirements that are attached to it. There's strong audits that occur to ensure that the billing is appropriate. And so because of that, it's a specific expertise. And so in order to make sure that we're maximizing that return, we want to be able to work with an agency that specializes in that. So that's why the ask is to be able to approve this.
So it would, in essence, cost us more to have somebody in that role as opposed to just pay somebody to file it for us.
That is correct. It would cost us more. And also it's a very kind of specific expertise that they would need to be able to make sure that we are compliant.
Thank you.
That was my question. So we can move on. Yes, Dr. Brady?
Yeah, so we used to do some of this submitting for the billing reimbursement on our own. And I don't have the exact figure, but it was in a couple $100,000 return, I believe. And then when we started using this billing support to really dig into what's reimbursable or not, we now get back about $1.2 million in reimbursable expenses. So it's a small cost, kind of like you can do your taxes yourself. But you might not know everything that you can get reimbursed for or write off. But if you go to a tax accountant, they'll say, hey, I don't see your mortgage statement. You know that you can write off your mortgage interest. And so that's kind of the idea here is really maximizing how much money we can get back with people who live in this world and are experts in what's reimbursable. And it's proven over time to help increase the amount we get back.
Please vote.
It's not that.
Sorry. Go ahead. Item passes unanimously. I'm staring at you now.
Thank you. We now go to Human Resources, Business Services. A, approve SGPA Amendment Number 2 to CT 3968 Exhibit D. This amendment, number 2, corrects a clerical error in amendment number 1 to ensure the contract accurately reflects previously board authorized roofing design work and aligns fees for ongoing accessibility upgrades. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve the discussion, please.
Second.
We have a motion to approve by trustee Castaneda, Bettencourt Castaneda, and a second by trustee Lopez with discussion.
Thank you. Can you clarify as to why we're having to bring this back for an amendment?
Yes, so this amendment 2 really serves as a technical correction to align the contract language with the 2 previously approved actions. And so the original contract included 2 items. It was accessibility design for our GeoBond projects, as well as roofing design projects for re-roofing at 6 schools. The first amendment, which was developed by the architect, was intended to update the design services for the accessibility, and it did. However, when SGPA provided us that Amendment 1, it neglected to include the roofing work, which was approved in the original contract. So when I say technical correction, this really exists, this Amendment 2 exists to clarify that that initial roofing scope that the board approved is remaining in full effect. And so it was omitted from Amendment 1, and in Amendment 2, we're just clarifying that it is still in effect.
So technically, we are just making sure that it never was omitted.
That's right, and really, frankly, SGPA could bill on the original contract, the roofing scope. They could bill the updated scope to the accessibility projects on the Amendment 1. However, it can appear confusing to an outsider looking back at it, and that's really the reason that we're bringing the Amendment 2 forward, which is just to clarify.
Make it clean.
That's right.
Please vote.
Item passes unanimously.
Thank you. We now go to item B. Approve the change order for CT 4283 with RGC General Engineering. Additional work is required for areas of concern in turf and playground installation, projects at Rancho de la Nacion and El Toyon schools to help with the damage and the ADA compliance. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
I have a motion by trustee Gates. Second. And a second by trustee Sarmiento. Please vote.
I have a discussion, please.
With the discussion by Mrs. Bettencourt Castaneda.
I noticed on the estimate that we were billed for some extra time. Can you have discussed as far as what the extra time is in regards to?
Absolutely. So with respect to the extra time that you're talking about, we experienced some cost escalations as a result of scheduling asphalt work to take place during particular times of the day. We did schedule that work to take place specifically outside of school. We looked to maximize work that could be done before the school day began, but ending before students were on campus, or having work take place after students had left for the day, but within the time frame. At the same time, though, that did not complete all of our needs. We did experience some times where we had to make the time that work would occur farther outside of the schedule, and that is what those cost escalations were associated with. Things like asphalt plants where the contractors would go and pick up the asphalt to bring it to the school. Those have very standard times that they open or close, and so those escalations were a result of us committing to not do any of that asphalt work during the school day.
Trustee Gates?
Thank you.
And with the change orders, we're still staying within the limits to what we can adjust per bid.
Thank you. Yes, if you collect all of the change orders together, they total to 9.5% of the overall contract value. So yes, we are within the 10% of the contract value rule.
Thank you. Please vote.
Trustee Lopez? Item passes unanimously.
Thank you. And we'll go to item 10A, Board President. At the January 21st, 2026 board meeting, I missed one? 9C. I missed it. 9C. Approve CT 4352 QC Southwest Centurion Consultants. QC Southwest Centurion Consultants will conduct site surveys to identify boundaries and utility locations in preparation for the bond-related constructions. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion by trustee Bettencourt Castaneda.
Second.
And a second by?
Second with discussions.
A second by trustee Gates and the discussion. Mrs. Trustee Lopez?
Yes, Dr. Cochran, can you clarify if this is for our current bond or is this in relation to a proposed new bond? Can you explain?
Thank you. So this is work for our current bond. As a reminder to the board, our accessibility upgrade plans are currently being reviewed by the Division of State Architecture. They've been there since January. And we have heard that there may be some delays in how long it takes to review, and they mostly relate to the LA fires and how many plans are now being submitted to help individuals who experienced that disaster recover and rebuild. So this is work that is in preparation for our current bond program that could be taking place as soon as this summer, depending on when the Division of State Architecture finishes their review. And so the task for this organization is to conduct site surveys to identify utility locations as well as boundaries, site boundaries. And you can think of this as us getting as much work that we can done out of the way so that if we received an approval on the earlier end, we would have fewer things to do in order to make it to a build time for this summer.
Is there a reason why it's coming out of the building fund and not the bond? Can you explain that difference?
Sure. It may just be a difference in name. The building fund, Fund 21, is also the bond fund. So it is coming out of the bond fund.
Trustee Gates?
I feel kind of silly for this question. Why do we need a new one? It doesn't feel like we haven't been selling property, and I realize that one of the long-term concerns is, that California is losing land. But the identifying boundaries and utility locations, why do we need a new one? And how often does this need to be done? Is this just one of those steps you have to do regardless of whether you like it? Why are we doing something that it feels like we should already know?
I'm sure it does feel like we should already know exactly where all of our utilities run under all areas of our school sites. But I would tell you that few districts actually know that, and that when you are doing construction, you have this type of work take place to identify any potential utility locations. For example, we wouldn't want to, dig a trench at an area that we have a gas line running underneath, our campus, right? And so this is especially localized to areas where we are doing construction. It's not wholesale charting of all the areas of the campus. It's really localized to all of the areas that we have been planning to do building. And although I would say that It's not a requirement that we have to do this. It is a best practice to go and identify all of your utilities and locations and associated any boundaries as well that might be either in the right of way, public right of way in front of a school entrance or a neighboring property line as well. If that was an area where you were building, that would be considered a best practice before building.
But again, why would we not already know? Like that, I'm just, it seems to me with the different things that we've developed over time, like, you know where the water, like we know where the water main is. Ask city, the city should be able to tell us where our water main is, things like that. So why,
a lot of times, Trustee Gates, you do know the general location. If you talk to your facilities team, they'll be able to say, you know, I know that the, you know, water line runs here and then it runs down this way, right? They could tell you generally where it is. But when we're talking about specifically, you know, digging down into the ground and hoping we don't hit something, it's important to be a little bit more specific than that. With regard to boundary lines, property lines, surveys, we do have surveys of all of our school campuses, but sometimes you'll find that there's additional information that may not be on those survey boundaries. Sometimes it dates back years and years, and you'll find easements on one particular survey that don't exist on another particular survey, or records with the city of, you know, property that we believe to be ours, but wasn't ours, but we have utilities running across it and it's an area that they now intend to develop. What I would say is this type of work, it actually, it seems like it might be a given, but it can be rather complex. And that's part of the reason that this is a pretty standard step when you're going to build, is to scan for utilities and identify any areas that might be conflicting on a boundary map.
so going forward, how do we keep the body of information?
So we do have a body of information that we maintain in our facilities department. If you'd like sometime, I'd be happy to take you and show you where we keep all of our plans in a particular plan room. We also have digital copies that are stored on our departmental drives as well. And yet, even though all of that is true, it would still be a best practice to scan for utilities when you're building. Yeah. And so when we have work like this that's performed, it becomes included in the rest of that, you know, body of information that we keep in our records.
Well, and I know we see, I mean, you see the signs of call, like the, what is it, the call before you dig and things like that. And I mean, I understand it. It just, I understand the concept. It just also feels like, I mean, and maybe it's because I grew up in Pennsylvania and not in California with the regular shaking that we do. It seems like it's a thing that should just, okay, well, this is where the gas line is. This is where the water main is. This is like, we should know those things. This is where the underground electrical is, or the whatever it is. It just feels like that should be really clear. And yet they do still tell us to call before we dig. So, okay. Thank you.
Trustee Betty Castaneda.
My question was, and maybe you've kind of already answered, is we will have to do it every time we have any construction, but when was the last time we had it done? However, I guess it's irrelevant because we have to do it no matter what.
Right, so it's location specific. So I would have to get back to you on the last time we did this location specific type of work here, where we're planning these accessibility upgrades specifically. But I would strongly wager that when we did our last work on all of the fields, that we would have surveyed similarly for any type of property boundary issues or utility lines at that time as well.
which is very recent.
which is very recent. Very recent, but then again, localized in that area, right? Not
So not necessarily in the area in which we would be needing to survey.
That's correct.
Okay, so it would be important that we would have to do it in this, the site, but not the area.
That's correct.
Okay, so that makes sense.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions, any other concerns? If not, let's go to item B, accept donations. I'm sorry. I thought I voted. You did. You voted. You didn't.
Item passes unanimously.
Okay, now going down to item D, accept donations. $4,000 from school's first federal credit union to the National School District for all staff day breakfast on January the 12th, 2026. Number two, $1,000 from the Mission Federal Credit Union to the National School District for the all staff day breakfast on January the 12th, 2026. I have to approve. Second. I'll vote.
Item passes unanimously.
Thank you. Item 10, board workshop. At the January 21st, 26th board meeting, the board accepted a set of policy updates for the first reading as part of the district's ongoing partnership with the California School Boards Association online policy service, which helps ensure our policies remain aligned with current laws and regulations. Our executive cabinet carefully reviewed each recommended update and revised them to ensure alignment with the National School District practices. The majority of the revisions reflect changes in law and regulations rather than changes in the district practice. Since the first reading, the board and the public have had opportunity to review the proposed updates. Thank you, trustees, for your many hours of reading and careful review of these policies. As I mentioned in January, any questions during the review period should have been directed to staff for clarification. Ask Executive Cabinet staff. Did you receive any questions from individual board members regarding proposed updates during the review period? No. The answer is no. Thank you. Although there were no inquiries, this workshop is provided as an opportunity for any final discussions or clarifications before these policies are brought back to the future meeting for adoption. Is there any discussion? No discussions? Thank you. There is no action required this evening. These policies will be brought back to a future meeting for adoption. Thank you. We now have board cabinet communications. Trustee Gates?
Just thank you to the students who presented tonight. It was fun to be on the receiving end of somebody else's lesson plans. And we do the same thing in 7th and 8th grade. We stick with those Latin and Greek roots because, as they pointed out, over 60% of our vocabulary right there. But thank you to them. Thank you to our student services for the presentation, and to our counselors, thank you for being present tonight and sharing with us, and carrying that weight. Our thoughts are with you with all of that. I trust everyone will enjoy their 4-day weekend, and then also I wanted to thank Dr. Cochran for the opportunity to be part of the budget task force. That is, it was enlightening and good conversation and good learning opportunity. And thank you for opening up that possibility for me. I appreciate it. So thank you to everybody.
Thank you. Trustee Lopez?
Yes, just want to say happy Black History Month, happy National School Counselor Week, and congrats to, again, Rosa Lopez for being counselor of the county. We have the best counselor in the county, y'all. And welcome to our new employees. Congrats again to our volunteer of the month. And hope everyone enjoys their 4-day weekend. Happy Valentine's and former President's Day. Thank you.
Trustee Sarmiento?
Yes, I'd also like to congratulate the John Otis students. What a hoot they were. I don't know if it's their teachers. I'm sure the teachers had a little bit to do with it, but that was very entertaining. Also, congratulate Yasmin Luna, our volunteer of the month. What a wonderful young lady she is. I was very impressed by her. And Rosa Lopez, wow, County Counselor of the Year. Is that too much or what? And thank the new employees, congratulate them, and just glad that they apply here and want to work there, because this is kind of a well-kept secret, and it's always nice to include more. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Trustee Bettencourt Castaneda?
Good thing you guys are short. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, two ladies, for staying here to the very end. Congratulations to our awarded recipients this evening: Jasmine Luna, Volunteer of the Month from John Otis. And our students, our wonderful students that are presented here this evening from John Otis. Congratulations to Rosa Lopez for the County Office of the Year for our counselor, and being here at NSD, representing our entire NSD family. Welcome to our new employees, and once again had 100% participation being here. Thank you to our HR department for reaching out. So I know that it takes effort. Thank you. Dr. Cameron and Mr. Anastos for your presentation. Thank you. And Dr. Filial and your amazing support teams, students support services, and also your counselors for being here this evening. I don't want to get emotional again, but thank you for the very detailed and very important information that's here tonight. My mic is going in and out, sorry. And you know I need my mic. And also the award recognitions that were acknowledged here about PBIS. We had 8 platinum, 1 gold, and 1 silver, which is very amazing for our district. And don't want to, we had one more that what am I missing here? America's Healthiest, our green, what did I miss? Purple Star. I kept saying Purple Heart, and I know that's wrong, and I'm so gonna get a joke for saying that. Okay, so amazing district that we are representing here. Making sure I'm going down my list. Wanted to say, I wanted to acknowledge during your presentation, the common quarters? Yes. So it's like a timeout, which is not really a timeout, but sometimes we just need that. Just give me a break. And that is like, it just stood out to me because sometimes we just need that quiet time. So thank you for having that, because whether we are an adult or a child, we just need that. Just give me a second. I had that one child, I have my child that just talks a lot. And I would always apologize every year to their teachers. I'm so sorry. I'm like, why? Because my child just talks so much. And they're like, no, not in school. I'm like, oh, he just saves it all for me. I'm just like, my ears just need a break, But, sometimes us adults need that extra time for that break. Thank you, Dr. Cochran, for your workshop, budget workshop that I also participated in, and we're working on it. We're trying to work hard for our district to be very strategic in our budget. I wanted to give a very brief, because I know I'm taking a lot of time and I'm trying not to, delegate assembly meeting that I was able to, that I attend every month. On January, we had somebody from Community Power, it's somebody from Climate Ready School. They gave a lot of information, and I know we're very big on being very climate conscious. And Dr. Brady, I know I gave you the information, or I shared with you, so maybe we can get connected. I know it's not a fit all for all districts, because some districts were, and they said that doesn't work for us, but maybe we can see how we can incorporate it with our district. But it's Climate Action Campaign was the person. It's Serena Dalka. What was interesting to me was they said that we need to get away with not having a gas stove. And some of us, we were just kind of thrown back by it, because a lot of, when we lose power, we rely on our gas stove. So because we have a lot of power outages more recent than not. So a lot of us were kind of like we said, very interesting, but we spoke about the batteries and so on. So they were very receptive to some of our feedback and so on. And then they were talking about immigration enforcement and how about really educating our families about know your rights. That was Lupe from the San Diego County office. Mental health pathways and their grants. And then the Linda Vista Innovation Center, which the CAL FIRE, they mentioned, and I know that both you, Dr. Filion and Dr. Brady, had an opportunity to visit. So we were going to potentially have one of our meetings at the location, and hopefully while the students were there, so we could actually see it in action. Let's see. And then they mentioned about there's a VIPA Chula location opening up, and seeing if we can take a tour. I know they have an education workforce opportunity, but it is kind of steep in price that you can participate in, which is about $700. So it wasn't really popular to everybody, but they do have a San Diego County mobile vaccination team that was brought up. So see if we're going to try to get some more information that I can bring forward to you guys. However, I'm not going to say last, but while we were there, we were presented by, it was her assistant, but our assembly woman, Darshana Patel, former school board member, presented us with our certificate of recognition. So those of us who attended our meeting. So with my name spelled correctly. So it was very nice, because she was a former school board member, for those of you who remember, but now she's a assemblywoman. So that was very nice. She recognized for January for school board month. That was nice. So, and that to complete my comments, and I'm trying to speak fast and I'm trying to speak, so I don't take everybody's time. Have a good 4-day weekend. Happy Valentine's Day and happy early birthday to Cindy. Have a good evening.
Mr. Crockett.
Thank you so much, Trustee
Dr.
Avalos.
He knows who I mean.
Yes, I do. I do. Wanted to say thank you. For the past few weeks, we've met as a budget reduction task force, and really just want to say thank you to our partners, CSEA, NCETA, our board trustees, our parents, and our unrepresented group. To second what Trustee Betancourt Castañeda said, I do think that we have had some really productive dialogue and conversation and are on the right track. We're also very excited about the potential for some new monies from the governor this year that were previously unanticipated. And so assuming that the economy continues to do well from a stock market perspective that impacts capital gains and taxes, then we hope that that really might help improve the district's financial picture. Do want to say thank you to Trustee Gates for stepping in so seamlessly. And although Trustee Lopez, you now have this new commitment that won't allow you to attend, we do want to say congratulations on that new commitment. And just want to thank our presenters today from John Otis. I agree, those students with their little Kahoot assignment for us were amazing. And also for the Ed Services presentation and the counselors that presented. That was a job well done. Thank you.
Dr. Kepkin.
I want to welcome our new employees and congratulate the students and Mr. Baeza, Mr. Rodriguez, and Mr. Vine for their presentations and for being here tonight. Congratulations to Rosa Lopez. And when I first met her a few years ago, I told her, I'll never forget your name because that is my aunt's name. I also want to thank Dr. Filia, Dr. Vargas, and the team for their presentations. Very insightful. Thank you. And we're also starting our Employees of the Year, and we have completed one of them, which is our Classified Employee of the Year. And we congratulated Ana Maria Garcia from Central. She's an instructional aide, so she has been selected as our Classified Employee of the Year. So congratulations to her. And I just want to wish everyone a happy 4-day weekend and happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you. Dr. Filia.
Yes, thank you. Again, I just want to also recognize all of our counselors, those who were here and those who weren't here, and we're continue the great work that they do at the school sites. It really does require commitment, and they have to have a real heart for the work. So we're just very grateful to them. Also, I also want to thank all of our PTA officers who gathered over at Kimball today on a wet Wednesday. And of course, President Avalos, who was with us as well. But again, just coming out and collaborating around how to best support their schools. And so that partnership is really critical to support our students. And during that meeting, we were able to engage in an activity to provide input for our LCAP. So just really appreciate their input and their ideas, and have a wonderful 4-day weekend.
Dr. Brady.
Okay, I'll try to do added comments because a lot has already been said and just so much to celebrate tonight. But first, want to start with happy birthday to Trustee Lopez and congratulations on your new role as a classroom teacher for 7th grade humanities. You know, being on a board in a school district, just to show your commitment to kids. We obviously all honor that, and we're really happy for you. And anything you need, just let us know, or let Trustee Gates know, because she's kind of in that wheelhouse right there. So I do want to say that February is American Heart Month, and in honor of American Heart Month, the Student Roundtable made these boxes of little treats for you. They made one for their principal, and they made one for their school health assistant to remind them to do their drill, and also the things that they're going around, and they are teaching hands-only CPR to all of the students within the schools. So that's happening this month if it's not already been done a little earlier. I wanted to let you know that tomorrow will be a big day, so you can watch for the news. The California Department of Education decided to not wait till Earth Day to make their big announcement, and National School District will be announced as a Green Achiever tomorrow. So we're really excited about that. And they are hosting all of the California Green Ribbon honors or recognitions here in National School District, and that will be on April 9th at Palmer Way. They're going to do kind of a symposium. The kids are going to do a tour for the participants, and then they'll do the recognition, and we'll be hopefully working with all of the guardians or kitchenistas for maybe some of the catering and really spotlight National City. So I just wanted to give you that as a save the date, April 9th, 9 to 4 at Palmer Way. We'd love to have all of our board members there. Also for the Purple Star recognition, that's going to be called the Salute to Purple Star Schools, hosted by SDCOE. It's going to be at the California Center for Arts in Escondido, and I'll send all this along to you, but that's going to be on March 18th at 4:30 p.m. We just got those details today, so if you could save the date on that. And that's going to be a place where there will be generals there, and our kids have been asked to speak. So they'll be speaking in front of generals. We did go to PTA today and Founders Day. They were talking about it, and the district staff had not gotten it, but many of the PTA officers, it has been circulating. So I apologize for not having a lot of notice, but Founders Day will be on March 11th. At 8:30 a.m. and we'll get that flyer to you. But if you wanted to attend that, it's going to be on March 11th. And then the last thing I'll share is that before I decided to make my announcement in October, I was asked to speak at the National Superintendent's Conference at AASA. That is happening now, but of course they have a board meeting. So I'll be flying out tomorrow. I am taking a personal day, and it will be my own expense, so there's no expense to the district. But I will be out tomorrow, if you don't see my card, at the Superintendent's Conference to do a presentation, and then of course we have our 4-day weekend. So with that, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Brady. I want to thank our wonderful, talented students from John Otis. Aren't they amazing? I mean, even that little boy that said, wait a minute, not your turn yet. So I think that was great. And of course, to our volunteer of the month, I want to thank Mr. Cameron and Mr. Astor for coming and letting us know exactly what they've been doing. They have been doing a lot of researching, speaking to the PTA, speaking to families, speaking to our educators, and getting an input on what they expect to when we choose our next, sorry to see Mrs. Langela go, our next superintendent. I had a great week this weekend as Mrs. Brady took me along to visit Kimball School. And since I went to elementary school there and started at kindergarten, I have my picture of the group when I graduated from, I didn't graduate, I just started in kindergarten, what am I talking about? So I asked Mr. Lopez if I could enlarge it and please put it in his office. And he said yes, and take my picture from the group and put that I am a board member.
Well, then should we do it at the schools that we attend?
No, just kidding.
That would be really
Sorry,
cool.
it was my idea, no. It ends there. So then, as we went through the halls of Kimball School, it's brought a lot of memories to me, since I remember running through that hall sometimes. And of course, the schoolyard that is very well done. In the way back when, it was gated, not gated, but it was not gated. There was no fence. So we were able to play baseball there. And the only thing that you could play would be the sandbox or the monkey bars. That was all we had. But now look at it. Thank you, Dr. Brady, for doing all of that beautiful playgrounds to all the schools.
Thank you, Charmaine.
And Mrs. Sharmella, that was really, really great. They did a great job. After we visited Kimball School, we went to visit Integrity Charter School, which they were teaching there at the Boys and Girls Club. And they gave us a whole tour of that. And I remember when my grandchildren used to go to the Boys and Girls Club. They used to have a bus to pick them up from Las Palmas and take them down there. They helped them with their homework, and they did arts and crafts, and they did that. So we did that, and today I was again accompanied by Dr. Brady and Dr. Phil Yah. You did a wonderful job, a wonderful presentation. And of course, she announced once again that she will be leaving us. And I just was so amazed of everybody that went and hugged her and cried and didn't want her to leave. And as she walked through the halls, there was everybody, oh, Dr. Brady. Oh, you did such a, oh, we're gonna miss you. And they're sincere and they were honest. And I think it's wonderful. You have been appreciated here at our schools. So let me see, I have some more notes here, I guess. I guess that's it. Oh, I wanted to say thank you to the counselors that were all here. They are so important as well as our educators are. But our educators will guide them to our counselors for the help that they need. So our educators are very well aware that we have a counselor in every school that's going to help our children. Right now, with everything that's going on in this whole wide world and after COVID, we are so grateful that they are here to help our children, which is the most important thing here for me, and I'm sure with the rest of us, for our children here in National City, to get the right things that they need. And of course, happy birthday, Cindy Lopez, board member, trustee. We have a wonderful cake for her. Please come and join us and have a slice of cake. Don't look so mad. You can have some too. Everybody, please come and join us. Thank you. Meeting is over.